This is the Blastcrete Dampcon machine. This machine is equipped with a 1,000-pound capacity paddle mixer driven with this gearbox. From the mixer, the material goes to the cleated belt conveyor. The conveyor feeds this 1,000-pound capacity receiving hopper above our genuine Picola rotary gun. The Dampcon rig is powered with a 29 horsepower Kubota water-cooled diesel, so the machine's diesel over hydraulic. This is a double hydraulic pump that powers the mixer function and the gun function. This is an auxiliary pump that powers the conveyor that feeds the hopper, which feeds the Picola gunite. This is the Picola rotary gunite machine. The machine is powered with a hydraulic motor that turns this gearbox. The gearbox turns the shaft, which rotates the rotor. It's a very simple machine to maintain and operate. We control the clamping pressure with this turnbuckle right here, and we equip the machine with a tool for you to tighten it up. So that's to loosen clamping pressure. This is to tighten clamping pressure. Also, you'll notice that the machine is mounted on casters. So when we're in the gunning mode, the gunite machine will be mounted below the receiving hopper. When it comes time to clean out, we pull a pin and we pull the gunite machine forward so that we can clean out the conveyor belt and mixer. Remove the gunite machine from the gunning position to the clean out position. We simply pull this pin and push the gun forward. Now, all excess material can come out of the receiving hopper onto the ground, and we can blow the machine off and clean it up. Also, in this mode, we can rotate the receiving hopper to clean out the gunite. All right, to clean out the gunite machine, the first thing you do is you remove the safety grating. Then we remove the T-screw and agitator that's inside the receiving hopper. Now we're able to loosen the turnbuckle, and now we can roll the clamping plate off of the rotor to access the rotor for cleaning. When we clean out the machine, it's always best to take the rotor off, and we blow off the bottom pad, top pad, and the rotor itself to ensure everything's clean the next time we're ready to start gunning. So now we put the gun back together. We can put the gunning machine back in the gunning position. One thing about when we get started about the turnbuckle, I always tighten it up by hand as much as possible, and you can give it at least one rotation to make sure we get a proper seal. Always make sure the machine is pinned in place. As far as the functions of this machine, you have the gun and the speed control. This customer preferred that we have a pendant remote, so we'll have to run that with electrical switches. The conveyor, forward, stop, reverse. This is the speed control for the conveyor. The mixer, forward, stop, reverse. And this is the speed control for the mixer. If you do not give the function hydraulic fluid, they won't rotate. So always make sure that you give that function hydraulic fluid to ensure everything operates at your desired speed. These are the pressure gauges. This is for the gunite machine, this is for the conveyor, and this is for the mixer. It's always ideal to keep the pressures as low as possible. Typically on the gunite machine, you'll be less than 600-700 psi on the clamping pressure. The conveyor should be less than 500 to 600 psi. And the mixture pressure will go from up to 3,000 psi, but typically around 2,000 psi is what you'll see on your mixture pressure. Now, as far as the gunite machine controls, you have two toggle switches. If you want to operate the machine locally at the machine, simply put the machine in local and you can operate the gun off and on. If you want to operate the machine with a pendant, simply put the machine in remote on, and you have a remote control with a toggle switch that has an on and off button, on and off switch. I will crank the machine and show you how we manipulate these functions. So this is the mixer function. Keep in mind we are throttled down significantly on the engine. This is the 1,000 pound capacity paddle mixer. When you're blending the material, always make sure that this lever is up. After the material is pre-dampened, simply pull the lever down. That will allow the material to feed to the conveyor. The mixer is equipped with a swing out mixer function. We simply unlatch the clamp and we can pivot the mixer off the machine. This is a nice feature for cleaning not only the mixer but also for cleaning the conveyor. Always make sure that you keep your hands away from these functions. These are the air control valves for the gunite machine. This is your main air. This control goes to the discharge of the gun. We typically set this about a quarter of the way open. Basically all this air does is vibrates a rubber liner to keep the material in suspension while you're gunning. This air control valve we typically set from 20 to 30 psi. As you can see, this hose goes to the clamping plate. This is the air that pushes the material through the rotor, out of the gun to the discharge nozzle where you'll be hydrating the material. Once you get these set up, all you basically have to do is gradually open this valve or shut it. So we'll open it. Once these are set, we'll open this ball valve wide open. Our controls are here. This way you're not having to always change these controls. This is, I always tell people, this is like a switch. Once you get these set, this is your on-off switch. This ball valve controls the vibrator function that's mounted on the receiving hopper. Typically we run this about a quarter of the way open. We don't ever usually run it wide open all the time, just because all that vibration is not needed to get the material to fall into the hopper of the gunite machine. Okay, I'm going to show you how to operate the gunite machine off and on with the remote, or if you would like to operate the gunite machine locally here. So if we want to operate local, put the gun in local, simply put the gunite machine on. Nothing's happening because we don't have the hydraulic speed control set. Simply adjust the hydraulics to whatever speed you would like the rotor to turn. The speed of the rotor is directly correlated to the amount of output that you're going to get at the gunning nozzle. Now, if we want to operate the gunite machine with the remote at the nozzle, we simply put the remote in the on mode, and now we can operate remotely.